Good evening. I'm Mr. Pat, and I'm back.
I'm milling about with writer-director Todd Stephens for the film Swan Song. Hi, Todd.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Yes, you too. So if I move a little bit, you can see Pat be like sitting on the couch.
I love that so much. You just made my day. I love it. It's awesome.
What a wonderful film. Seriously, I just felt so great watching this. And it was actually inspired by your life.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Mr. Pat. I never knew him very well, but he was almost like my first exposure to like a queer person in my town, but not only queer, like fabulous, So I always looked up to him because I always felt a bit different myself, and so he was kind of like a real role model for me, growing up, and helped give me the courage to be myself.
Oh, that's so cool. So when you actually went back to Sandusky, Ohio to shoot the film, what was the reception like for you?
Amazing. I mean, my third film I've shot there, and the attitudes toward, like gay subject matter have really evolved a lot over the 20 years since, of course, the 20 years since when I made my first film there. As a matter of fact, when I first got home, they were celebrating the third annual Gay Pride Festival in town. And it's a small town, Yeah. And so that blew my mind in an amazing way. And everybody helped with the film. It's like people donated spare bedrooms that the cast and crew slept in because we didn't have the money for hotels. People volunteered to be extras and let us shoot in their homes and locations and businesses. And they donated, the funeral home said, pick whatever coffin you want for Linda's coffin, take the stand, take the lights, take anything you want, and they didn't charge us any money at all. I mean, it's just
well, that's a plus.
Because people are excited to be part of a film, and people remembered Pat, and loved Pat. And so I just felt like I couldn't have done it without the help of my community, my hometown. So sometimes they say you can't go home again. Well, in this case, you can't. I could,
You can't not go home again in this case. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I fell in love with Pat. I would have loved to have hung out with Pat and gone to see his drag show. I love all that stuff. Love it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I only saw him do drag once, and it literally was the best drag show I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of great drag queens, but he was the best.
So with Udo's performance, which is Oscar worthy, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I know. Did he meet with Pat's lover? I mean, did he get an opportunity to meet with the people in his life?
Well, Pat's lover is gone. Pat's gone, but there are, a lot of people were died from AIDS, even in a little town, small town, it hit hard. But the Pat's friends that did survive, Udo met and hung out with, and they really, helped him about how Pat and I remember too, how Pat held the cigarette and how he moved and just told stories, and Udo really loved that. It really helped inform the choices he made with the character. Yeah.
Was he really smoking those Moors? Because I've smoked a Moor and they're disgusting.
I tried one too. It's funny because usually actors smoke like fake cigarettes, like clove cigarettes, prop cigarettes. And I asked Udo, do you want us to try to find like a fake Moor cigarette? He said, no, are you kidding? He wanted to do the real thing. He wanted it to be real. So I was a little nervous because he is an ex-smoker, so I was worried that, but he was smoking a bit during the shoot, but then he kind of, got back on the wagon. So afterwards.
Oh my God, that's great. So he must have really dove into this role head first.
Absolutely. He gave it everything he had, He gave it everything he had, and it shows, I think,
Are there any any living relatives of Pat's that
Yeah, Pat's sister Janie, who I kind of named the woman in the truck, the pickup truck that picks Pat up. I named her Janie in honor of Janie, and she was really, it's weird. It's like the only thing that's left of Pat, like literally fits in a shoebox, And so Janie showed me what was in the shoebox, and one of them was a half smoked pack of Moors, and some of his necklaces and rings. And so they let us use those in the movie. And, the necklace Pat's wearing is one that Pat wore like his whole life. And so they were, Janie and Pat's nieces and nephews were so supportive. And they came and visited the set and made little cameos in the movie. And so that was an honor for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the costumes. Did Udo snag anything? I would have grabbed that hat.
No, I got it. It's in my it's in my house, in my basement. So I wound up with all of it. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but but yeah, no, I have it. So.
Do you like taking things home from the set?
I do. Yeah, little pieces, and I spend a lot of time working on the costumes with my costume designers, and that really means a lot to me. And that suit was just so iconic to me, and his little pink hat that he wears, and his sweatpants, and his poodle t-shirt. And I just think they did such a great job, evolving, the journey of the character through the transformation of the costume. It really was used to tell a story, And so, yeah, I have it. But if you want to borrow it, I'll loan it to you,
Next Halloween, I want it.
Right, exactly.
It's going to be big for Halloween, I think.
We were thinking that, when we were there, it's like, it'd be such a great Halloween costume,
Yeah, right?
I would be so honored. That would be amazing.
Now, speaking of icons, oh my gosh, Linda Evans.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, she hadn't done a movie in 20 years and came out of retirement just to do the small part because she was so touched by the material. So we just did a appearance here in LA, a screening, and so I got to hang out with her again last night. And she is the kindest woman, and she's so brilliant in the film, and Udo absolutely fell in love with her. They became really good friends. So.
Did she? I mean, if I was in a coffin, I would feel very claustrophobic. So, did she have a safe word with you?
I don't remember that, but she said it was weird. It was weird, and I think they even shut the lid on her for a second and stuff. And I mean, she said it was pretty heavy. So. Yeah, but she could have just jostled around and we would have seen it moving. We would have rescued her if she was panicking, I think.
In a weird way, though, it's kind of life affirming, isn't it, to get inside of a coffin?
I think so. Yeah. It's live while you can, while live your best life outside of the coffin, because we're all going to end up here at some point. So, yeah.
Yeah. And another icon who I love and adore is Jennifer Coolidge, who she must have been a hoot to work with. And I'm sure
she's amazing. And, half the lines she says she improvs because she's a genius at that. And I wish that I wrote them, but I just adore her. Another, these people, they didn't do it for the money. They did it because the project touched them. And so I'm just so thankful. And, she's literally I've had an obsession with Coolidge for many years, from going back to American Pie and Best in Show and all that. So that was a dream come true for me to work with her. I adore her.
Did she want to trail the hairstylists and sort of get to know what they do?
Not so much. No, but we just yeah, we spent a lot of time figuring out her look and having fun with a lot of leopard prints and animal prints, and just really did a number of takes so that we could play and see what happened, and I don't know how she does it, but these things pop into her head, and it's wow, I literally wish that I wrote that, you know, but it's such a joy to work with her because you never exactly know what's going to happen, you know, and that's the biggest joy as a director is like when actors do things that surprise you, you know, that like you wouldn't have thought of or that you didn't write and bring like a whole other level or dimension to it. It's such a joy.
Now, because this is such a small town, I'm sure everybody was recognized and they kind of rolled out the red carpet.
Yes.
So who got the most attention?
In terms of actors?
In general, like who did people on the street want to meet and hang out with and get their
Well, probably Udo most of all. And interestingly enough, he, you know, like I said, we were living right downtown where we shot, and Udo would, we would wrap shooting and we would just go, sometimes he didn't even take the green suit off, you know, like we would go hang out at bars and restaurants, and he really almost became a member of the community, you know? And so people, after a while, it was just like, hey, Udo, you know, it's like everybody just knew him, and he's very kind with people. And so he just became, it's like he kind of almost became like the real Pat, you know, in town. And so, yeah, he's the one that, you know, and he was there the longest. So he really got to know everybody and become like an honorary citizen of Sandusky.
So the Universal Fruit and Nut Company doesn't exist anymore, I imagine.
No, not anymore, no. But that is literally where I met the man that I'm married to now. Like 37 years ago, we met at the Fruit and Nut, and we've been together ever since. So
I want to hear this story now.
Wow.
It's
in Edge of 17, my first film. I kind of allude to it a bit, but yeah, I was 17 when we met, and you know, he had one of those tails, you know, in the 80s, like a long tail. And so he was sitting at the bar, and I saw this cute blonde guy, and he had a tail, and I think like a Eurythmics t-shirt or something on, and I went up and behind him and I pulled on his tail and I said, hey, nice tail. So we've been together ever since. So the Fruit and Nut, you know, changed a lot of people's lives, and places like that though are almost like vanishing, a lot of them kind of becoming extinct. So, which in a way is great, you know, because I guess they're not needed anymore as much, but it's also sad because it's kind of like the loss of this beautiful world, you know, so it's safe space. And so we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Fruit and Nut. And it was also amazing that it wasn't just gay men, gay women, transgender folks, black, white, old, young, straight, not everybody was queer, you know, and it was just that place that you went that had the best music in the 80s to dance to, and where everyone was accepted. And I don't know, it was like this Shangri-La melting pot place that, I don't know, that was a beautiful moment. You know?
Well, now that the town of Sandusky, Ohio is much more progressive,
yes.
maybe you could bring it back.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. I should. Todd's Fruit and Nut.
There you go.
Yes, I like it.
So what would you like audiences to come away with most of all after they see Swan Song?
Just realizing that life is short, you know, and that it goes by pretty quickly, and that, you know, as long as we're breathing and conscious, to like keep living your best life, and don't give up. I mean, at the beginning of the story, I feel like Pat's given up on life and kind of rediscovers the joy of living. And so that was the ultimate message, like, you know, life is short, dance while you can, basically.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd. Me and Udo say thank you.
Okay. Hi, Udo. Thank you, Robin. That was really fun. I love that you did that. Thank you.
Thank you. Take good care.
Okay, you too. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Even though I never really knew you, I want you to know you changed my life.
Well, ain't you just the sweetest thing?
Pick me.
Always news. Always refreshing. Always candid. Always milling about. Robin Milling delivers what celebrities are saying to you.